JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 25th of May 2020, so yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday's afternoon session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, some of the charts that we looked at this morning just to see how everything's kind of getting along. But yeah, as always, before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump in, a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos. And of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yeah, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. Now then, let's quickly have a look at what's happening here globally in terms of the coronavirus. So let me just update the web page. So I'm jumping back into this to this previous website. Let's have a look at this situation here. So yep, the of course the leaderboard, kind of if we can call it a leaderboard, remains the same, but what's a little bit on the promising side is the fact that the daily cases continue to drop. So let me just quickly get this one loaded up. So yeah, it will take a little bit of a while, most likely. Okay, but anyway, it's gonna load up very long. I mean, it's gonna take a while probably. So in a way, the daily cases are starting to drop slowly again. So yep, hopefully that's gonna stay like that, and it's gonna stay with the current trend. And yep, there we go. As you can see, after we've peaked about a few days ago, it now is dropping back down. So like I said, hopefully it's gonna stay like this. Now then, jumping into a few graphs here, charts. The first one on the session here is the German DAX. Now this one's open today. I mean, as we know, the UK and US are closed for today. So yep, here the situation is quite promising for the bulls, because as you can see, finally we're getting a nice strong move above this April high, or the upper side of the range where the index kind of continued to trade in. And this morning we were still below this barrier, below this 11,236 zone, but finally we're getting a nice pop above it. So let's see if the daily candles stays above this, if we can see a close above this barrier. If we do, then yes, we will aim for some higher levels. We'll aim for the 11,447 zone, which is the low of the 6th of March, and then we'll aim for the 11,770 zone, which is the high of the 6th of March. And around there, we do have the 200-day EMA as well. So we'll see how all this is going to play out, and how the index will behave near these barriers. However, in order to kind of consider these higher levels, as I said, we need to see a nice good daily close above this barrier above this 11,236 zone. So, but for now, it seems that there is a good chance of seeing that happening. Now jumping into Nikkei 225. Now this one here closed this morning below this barrier, below the high of last week, which is roughly around the 20,735 zone. And but if we take a look at the cash index right now and where it is currently balancing at, we can see that the price is currently floating near the 20,965 mark. So basically, it's above the above this barrier where the high of last week. And yep, now in a way everything's kind of looking quite positive here. However, be very careful with this one, and we will aim for the 200-day EMA initially. Of course, a slightly better target for us is the 21,720 zone, which is the high of the 3rd of March, or in other words, the highest point of March, and then we would take it from there. But of course, another thing for you guys to consider here, and let's see if this happens or not, but basically we could be seeing here a possible, let me just quickly draw this one on the chart. There we go. So this is the this one here, and the other one here is this. If we take a line and draw it from somewhere here, basically, long story short, we could be seeing a possible rising wedge pattern. Again, for now, we will stick a little bit more to the upside with the bullish scenario. However, you can just keep this on your chart just in case. If the upper side of the wedge here, of this this rising wedge, gets violated, then yes, of course, ignore this whole pattern. But if it continues to trade, if the price kind of continues to stay within the pattern, now this is where probably the bulls should get a little bit concerned, because again, these patterns tend to break to the downside according to all the TA rules. So that's why for now we will keep this in the chart just in case. But yeah, from the very short term perspective, we are leaning a little bit more to the upside, but like I said, we will remain very careful, and we'll just keep an eye on this possible formation. Now then, jumping into Brent oil very quickly. So this one has not changed much, to be honest. I mean, so the same analysis remains, the one that I was talking about this morning. We need to see a clear break through one of these lines, either through the downside line taken from the high of the 8th of January here, or we need to see a break of this upside support line taken from the low of the 22nd of April. So until then, we're not really doing anything, we're just observing the price action. DXY. So this one, just a quick update. Basically here, the index continues to range, the dollar index continues to move sideways here. So it's currently kind of floating near the middle of this this range here, well, for now, to be honest, we're just gonna observe this. We're not gonna do much with it because, again, it's a little bit of a tricky one, and so wait for a clear breakthrough, either through the 100.93 level, which is the kind of the considered the upper side of this range, or wait for a drop below the 98.82 territory, somewhere around here, and then yep, we could consider maybe lower lower levels. However, until then, well, yep, be very careful for now, guys. Ripple continues to move within this kind of little range here. I talked about Ripple last week, and basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this barrier, the 0.2053 territory, because as you can see, it continues to provide resistance, and in a way, for now, we will keep an eye on this barrier, but if and for now, to be honest, we are leaning a little bit more to the downside. However, but only up until this level right here near the 0.1760, because as you can see, it acted as a fantastic area of support here previously back in May, well, actually back from the 10th of May. So it's the current near the lowest point of May. Also, it acted as a good support in the end of April, and of course, the lowest point of December. That's the level. So yep, initially we will target this area, the 0.1760. If by any chance we get a nice pop above the 0.2053 territory, then yes, we will aim for some higher levels. We'll initially target the 200-day EMA here, which, as you can see here, previously also acted as a good area of resistance. But if we do overcome this this line, then, well, I mean, higher levels could be met. So, but again, for now, guys, all eyes are on the this little level, the 0.1760. For now, we're leaning a little bit more towards that area. ADGPY. So this pair, I talked about this pair last week, and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this downside line, which got broken last week. This one's taken from the high of the 16th of January, and at the end of last week, on Thursday and Friday, the pair started drifting lower. And but what I was also mentioning, that to keep an eye on the 70.17 territory, which is the high of April. And if previously it acted as a very good area of resistance, now, as you can see, it's kind of playing its role of as a support level. So for now, it's kind of everything's kind of working out nicely. And in a way, the pair does have a chance to kind of push higher again. Initially, we'll target the 71.51 territory, which is the high of the 3rd of March, and then, or actually, it's the highest point of March. Let me just correct that. Yep, around here we do have, slightly above that, we do have the 200-day EMA as well. So for now, we are still leaning a little bit more to the upside, given that we are trading below above this downside line. And but we will keep it short and simple for now. Like I said, we will only target the 71.51 zone, and then we'll take it from there. But again, like I said, keep your eyes on this. It could be quite interesting. And if by any chance the pair suddenly drops back below this downside line, then we may maybe start considering some lower levels. Now, previously I talked about this territory, the 67.37, after a break of which we could kind of aim for lower levels. Yes, this still remains the kind of the comfortable level for us. However, if we get a strong move back below this downside line, then we will consider a bit of declines here. I mean, we'll consider a possible decline towards this highlighted area, and then we'll take it from there, guys. USD CAD, this one continues to balance within this kind of descending triangle pattern, and as you can see today, today and actually on Friday last week, the pair struggled to overcome the psychological 140 zone. Well, it did overshoot it, but still kind of ended the day below it. And the same, well, today we are seeing that yes, the bulls continue to struggle to kind of push the pair above this territory. Now, if by any chance they eventually manage to do so, they could lift the rate a little bit higher. However, don't forget that we are still below this downside line, and basically this is the upper side of this descending triangle, which, if stays intact, well, could lead to another round of selling. For those who are more on the cautious side, you could just wait for a drop below this 1.3856 territory, which is the lower side of the triangle, and then aim for the lower levels. Until then, kind of like I said, we will probably, from our side, we will remain neutral here, and we need to see a clear exit out of this pattern before we could consider the next directional move. And in terms of the upside, of course, yes, we'll wait for a push above the above this downside line or the upper side of the triangle. But just for that extra confirmation, let me just adjust, not the wrong place, there we go. And in order to get a little bit more comfortable with higher levels, we'd probably maybe also prefer to see and to wait for a push above the high of the 14th of May, which is around the 1.4141 zone. So yep, could be an interesting one, because this would confirm a forthcoming higher high and more buyers could be joining in. EURGBP. EURGBP so continues to struggle to overcome this 0.8995 territory. That's basically the low of the inside swing low of the 20th of March, and today we're seeing a bit of a decline. There is a possibility for this one to drift a little bit lower, but as you can see by the arrow drawn here, the main scenario for now is where if we could see it drop lower towards the 0.8864 territory, which previously acted as a very good area of resistance, now it could take the role of support. And if we see the rate kind of continuing to balance above this area, then we may see a nice rebound here and a push higher, maybe even going above the 0.8995 territory and targeting this area somewhere around here near the 0.9150. But again, for now, guys, like I said, we'll wait and see here, because for those who are more on the cautious side, you could just wait for a push above the 0.8995, because this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and maybe more buyers could join in. For now, what we're leaning here for is a bit of a decline. Maybe, like I said, a test of this area would be ideal, and then a rebound from it and a push higher. Yep, that would be of course the ideal scenario. But let's not forget that the market doesn't always do what we want it to do. So be very careful. And like I said, for those who are more on the cautious side, you could just wait for a push above the 0.8995 zone, or in a way you could round it up towards the 0.90, and then target higher levels. If by any chance the pair drops below the 0.8864 zone, then we may see maybe a deeper extensions here to the downside, or let's say larger extensions to the downside and a deeper move lower. And finally, Euro USD. So the pair continues to flirt with this 1.0875 territory. I talked about this one this morning, and this morning we were just kind of balancing, or actually we're sitting just bang on in this area. And as you can see, the pair kind of rebounded and is now kind of floating above, not only above this 1.0875 zone, but also above the 21-day EMA. Overall, let's not forget that the pair is still within the range. So in a way, what I was talking about this morning was that if we get a drop below the 1.0875 zone, and if we see a nice daily close below this area as well, then yes, this could increase the chances of a possible test of this lower side of the range. However, as you can see that the bulls kind of pushed the rate back up here, but even from here, to be honest, we cannot really talk about, or should I say, cannot really get very comfortable with higher levels, because ideally we would prefer to see a nice good push above the 1.0990 level and then aim for higher levels. Until then, that kind of we're not really kind of examining any larger extensions to the upside here, but we will look at that. We'll consider this idea only after a break above the 1.0990, and ideally we would like to see a nice daily close above this area and then aim for higher levels. So guys, I really hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for watching and listening. If you want to join me tomorrow morning, as always, at my Traders Espresso, that's 6 o'clock GMT time. But for now, guys, I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.